Super Bowl 56 is upon us. To cap off one of the wildest postseasons in recent memory, Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams will play host to Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in what figures to be a shootout at SoFi Stadium. But who has the edge? Let's break it down, position by position. So sit back, relax, and take this in. Before we get started on today's video, a quick reminder to like and subscribe to our channel. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers, and we want you to help us get there. Now back to the video. First off, the quarterbacks. The wily veteran Matthew Stafford against the up-and-coming youngster Joe Burrow. After a volatile, often frustrating 12-year run with the Lions, Stafford, in his first year with the Rams, was one of the NFL's most efficient quarterbacks. He was even an unexpected early season MVP candidate. And while Stafford did throw a league-high 17 interceptions, including 7 in the final 3 weeks of the regular season, he also finished with the best full-season QB rating of his career, while ranking 4th in the league in adjusted total QB rating. Burrow's campaign was the opposite of Stafford's in a sense. He led the league in interceptions midway through the season, but has looked like a bona fide star, throwing 15 touchdowns to just 2 picks since Week 14, postseason included. Ultimately though, both quarterbacks are entering Super Bowl 56 trending up. Here are both passers' playoff stats this year. Granted, Stafford shrugged off his late season mistakes and now looks to be in sync with his weapons, but Burrow is a man on a mission. The advantage at QB goes to the Bengals. So, who's got the upper hand at running back? Well, Los Angeles moved the ball effectively on the ground in the wildcard round, but hasn't replicated that success since. Cam Akers, who tore his Achilles earlier this year, has mostly struggled this postseason, despite leading the Rams with 151 yards. If Akers isn't the answer, Los Angeles can turn to Sony Michel or potentially Darrell Henderson, who hasn't played since December due to a knee injury, but could return for the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, despite having a more seasoned, less hobbled lead back, the Bengals have averaged only 3.8 yards per carry in the playoffs so far. Joe Mixon had a career year with 1,205 rushing yards and 16 total touchdowns during the regular season, but he hasn't exactly been a force on the ground this postseason. Still, the Pro Bowl rusher has topped 100 scrimmage yards over his last 2 games thanks to his pass-catching ability, since he will need a similar contribution from him this Sunday. Neither team is particularly elite in this category, but the advantage is still with the Bengals. Alright, now to the receivers. Who's got the edge? It's hard to imagine Cincinnati would be here without Jamar Chase. He put on an absolute show during the regular season with 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. And he already set the playoff record for the most receiving yards for a rookie with 279. The Bengals also have another 1,000-yard receiver in T. Higgins, and their weapons in the passing game are legit. As good as Cincy's pass catchers are though, the Rams receivers are even better. Cooper Kupp is enjoying a historic campaign, capturing the receiving Triple Crown and becoming the only player ever to notch 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in a season, including the playoffs. Meanwhile, Odell Beckham Jr. has done a fine job filling in for the injured Robert Woods since coming over to LA in November. He's caught 19 passes for 236 yards and 1 touchdown through 3 games this postseason, and saw a season high in both targets and receptions in the Rams' victory over the 49ers in the NFC title game. The advantage for this one has to go to the Rams. Alright, now to the nitty-gritty, the O-line. Cincy's offensive line is its biggest concern right now. Burrow was sacked a league-high 51 times during the regular season and hasn't improved much in the playoffs. The Tennessee Titans sacked him 9 times in the divisional round to set a new single-game postseason record. And while Burrow was sacked only once in the AFC Championship game, that was mostly due to his own ability to make jaw-dropping plays while running for his life. And he was still pressured on about a quarter of his dropbacks, right in line with his regular season mark. On the other hand, the Rams' offensive line ranked first in pass block win rate, which measures how often an offense gives up pressure within 2.5 seconds of the snap during the regular season. LA also has a clear advantage over Cincy in both postseason pass and run blocking, according to Pro Football Focus. Advantage, Rams, moving on. They say defense wins championships, so who claims supremacy in that area? No one wants to face the Rams' front 7 right now. Los Angeles has arguably the most disruptive interior lineman of all time in Aaron Donald, whose Hall of Fame caliber resume is only missing a championship ring. Add Von Miller and Leonard Floyd to the mix, and that spells trouble for the Bengals. Cincy's pass rush may not be as scary as the Rams unit, but that doesn't mean Cincy can't wreak havoc up front. Just ask Patrick Mahomes, who was sacked 4 times in the AFC title game. What Cincinnati's secondary has done this postseason is pretty remarkable too. After the Bengals looked dead in the first half of the AFC title game, Cincy's secondary made Mahomes look like an average quarterback. The team's 6 interceptions this postseason leads the NFL by a significant margin. And speaking of interceptions, we have to acknowledge how significantly Jalen Ramsey, the NFL's top cornerback, elevates the Rams secondary. Los Angeles plays a high percentage of zone coverage, but when Ramsey is lined up on the same side as Chase, or when LA goes man-to-man, we'll have another must-watch cornerback-receiver matchup. The Bengals are good, but the Rams are downright terrifying in this department. They've got the advantage on defense as well. What about special teams? Evan McPherson has been one of the main characters in the Bengals Super Bowl run. The rookie kicker hit walk-off, game-winning field goals to send both the Titans and Chiefs home, and he's now 12 for 12 on postseason field goal attempts. Things aren't going quite as well for Matt Gay, who was more consistent than McPherson during the regular season, but has already missed 2 kicks in the playoffs. Though the Rams have no big reason to be worried about their Pro Bowl kicker, McPherson has the edge as the hottest kicker in football right now. Special teams is always unpredictable, but McPherson is the ultimate X factor here. Advantage, Bengals. And finally, coaching. Who is going to outdo who in this game of chess? Zach Taylor began the season on the hot seat, but quickly changed that narrative, guiding Cincy to its first AFC North title since 2015. He has an opportunity to prove the student has become the teacher on February 13th after working on Sean McVay's staff from 2017 to 2018 before moving to Cincinnati. Meanwhile, McVay has already established himself as one of the NFL's top coaches and one of the brightest offensive minds in the game at age 36. The 2017 Coach of the Year is headed to his 2nd Super Bowl appearance after losing to the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 53. We'll lean McVay for this one. So the Bengals got the advantage at quarterback, running back, and in the special teams department, but the Rams have the edge at receiver, on defense, on the O-line, and on the headset. But what do you think? Who has the ultimate advantage on Sunday? And which team will end up hoisting the Lombardi Trophy? The Rams or the Bengals? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.